Welcome back to Business Office Specialist. In today's video, we're going to be looking at sorting. Sorting is a way to organize and categorize your information based on one of the data columns in your table. So to help us with that, we're going to be looking at a pre-built workbook. So look for that link in Canvas or in the description on this video. I'm going to click on mine and open up the workbook. And as always, we're going to move it into the boss folder and change the name so that it doesn't say copy of anymore. This particular workbook has several different worksheets, all of which are identical right now. What we're going to do is just walk through each one, learning how to sort this information in several different ways. In order to sort data in Google Sheets, you're going to have to highlight and select whatever range of cells you want to sort. So sometimes you could sort the entire table, sometimes you might just be sorting a small piece of it. And Google Sheets needs to know what you're sorting. So we're going to sort this entire table here in the middle today. When you're sorting a table of data, it's always recommended that you select not only the data itself, but also the header titles at the top of the columns. You'll see why this is important later. So we're going to start by selecting row 3, where we have all of the headers for the columns that we're going to be using, and then drag down and select all of our data. Now down at the bottom, we have a total row. We don't want to select the total row, because when you select a total row, Google Sheets doesn't recognize that as something separate than the rest of the data. So as you're sorting, it's going to be sorted alphabetically up into the data and it won't be at the bottom anymore. So we want to leave that alone. So we're just going to stop at the end of our data, which would take us from A3 at the top all the way down to G29 at the bottom. Now that we've selected the data that we want to sort, if you go to the data menu item at the top, there is an option to sort range. Now they have some pre-prepared sorts for you right here, where you can sort using column A. So by default, most of the time when we're sorting the first column of data. And so it has some pre-built settings for that. But if we want to sort any other column, we're going to have to click on sort range. So I want to get you used to using the sort range tool in Google Sheets. So let's click on that. Once you get here, the first thing that I want to do is check the box that says Data has Header Row. Because we selected the headers, and this is why it's so important to do that, I can have the headers show up in my menu. So right now it just says column A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I have to keep track of what items are in each column. I never am able to do that. So if I check the box that says Data has Header Row, two things happen. One, you can see that the names in the menus now change to be the names of my headings. Also, it means that the headings are set aside and won't be sorted into the rest of our sorts, so they'll always stay on top. That's important. So now we want to decide what we're going to sort with. For this first example, let's just sort by the name in column A. You have two options. You can sort in ascending order, A to Z, or in descending order, Z to A. Now, some students have a hard time remembering what's ascending and what's descending. If you get confused by that, one, you can hover your mouse over it and Google will tell you, but also I remember that ascending as a word begins with the letter A. And when you're ascending, you begin with A and move up to Z. Descending would be just the opposite. You start at Z and move down to A. So that's how I remember it. So we're going to do this in ascending order, A to Z. And then when I'm finished, I can just click sort. That would be a single column sort. And you can see that now everything in column A has been moved alphabetically, but then all the rest of the data on the row also shifts with the name so that that student's information goes with it as it is moved around into alphabetical order. Now, that's sorting with one column. We can also sort with two columns. Let's take a look at an example of that in our Home tab. So we're going to go to the Home sheet down at the bottom. And same thing, we are going to start with the headers at the top on row 3 and highlight all of our data all the way down to G29. We're going to go to Data and open our Sort Range tool and select our data headers. Now, this time, let's sort our data by home, and let's leave that in alphabetical order, ascending. But let's imagine that after we sort by home, we also want to sort by student name. So we want to organize our students according to the city they live in and then have them sorted in alphabetical order. So if I add another sort column here at the bottom, let's do it by name. And let's make that descending just to be a little different here. So what this says is it's going to sort first by their hometown and then by the names inside of the hometown. So let's see what that looks like. We'll click sort. And here you can see that our hometowns are now listed alphabetically. And so all of the students for Lehigh are now sorted at the top. And then within the Lehigh names, it sorts them in alphabetical order descending by name. And then you have all of the Orem students who are also listed in alphabetical order descending by name. So it sorts inside of its sort. And that's how you would do a multi-column sort.
To learn more tools and features in the Google Suite family of apps, check out more of my videos on YouTube or visit ToriNorman.com.